Okay, guys, so welcome. This call tonight is with myself, Amy Shine, an Access Certified Facilitator, and amongst many other things, and Tom Knapp, just below me, with the white hair, and also an Access Certified Facilitator. And me and Tom like to create foundation classes together. So a lot of people come to me and they're like, okay, what is the foundation? First off, it's an access consciousness class. It's a core class. It's one of the classes you can take after you've taken a bars class. And a lot of people, have taken a bars class and they want to know more and they want to take the class and they come to me and they're like, so what is this foundation? Like, what do you do in it? Like, what's it about? So we kind of created this Zoom tonight to address some of those questions and also looking at, what's it going to take if you are looking at choosing a class, this class or any other class, what's it going to take to actually get there with ease? So to start it off, okay, we'll go with the first question we always get asked, which is, what the hell is a foundation class? Tom.
I was ready to shift gears on you and go right to the cost of the damn thing, but
okay, we can do that. You want to go price?
Well, I just kind of got that it's in the space always, right? So,
yeah.
And it's really more of like, first of all, I want to call out my interior decorator designed it. It's what we call in Michigan sheep shades. You'll notice in the background here
yes.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I noticed right before we went on that my lighting was really like pounding in from that window. So the last minute, I don't have blinds on that window. So I had to like just improvise and throw a sheet up there. So if any of you are interested in that concept, please email me or Facebook message me and I'll forward you my design. Just had to get that out there.
Okay.
So
let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I'm going to just shift this up that way, right?
Nobody noticed until you pointed it out, by the way.
Of course not, but I have to get it out because if I don't call it to my attention, it's going to sit there in the background for the next 28 minutes that we do this call, and I'm not going to do that, right?
Everything that is
really kind of crucial to this conversation about the money, right? Is that if there's an elephant in the room for whoever it is asking to be talked about and not kicked further under to be then shielded by further elephants underneath the rug.
Or right? Let's distract you by talking about other things and really the elephant's in the room. Let's address it. So
which is really all of what the cost is and what all of Access Consciousness, the foundation, is all about. So we actually covered that in about 5 minutes. How cool is that?
Well, no, let's really cover it. So, okay, you have someone, and they're new to Access, and they look at the price, and it's $1,600 for 4 days, and they go into Beyond's, like, maybe to some people that's a lot of money. Some people it might not be a lot of money. So, I have to share my experience. Okay, so I started doing Access not that you can ever really do Access. I found the tools of Access Consciousness when I was 25 or 26. I was coming to my last year in college. I'd been to college twice. It was my second time in college. And I found the Access bars and I took the bars class and oh my God, changed my whole world. That one day changed my whole world. And I was just like, I want more, 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 more. You got to give me more. And I had been asking before Access, I had been asking for body work to show up. I knew I was going to be in healing work. I knew I was going to be working with bodies. And I knew like I needed body work. And I was going to teach body work. So I'd been asking. So when I found Access, the bars, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I saw that there was a 3-day body class on a couple of months from when I first founded it. And I was like, okay, I'm there. Body work. That's what I've been asking for. Like it totally matched the energy of what I'd been asking for up until that point. And when I looked at the 3-day body class, the prereq was a foundation. So I was like, okay, so in order to take the 3-day body, I have to take a foundation. Now at this stage, I didn't look at any prices. I just knew the energy of what my life was asking for, my body, everything, my being. And when I saw, okay, I got to take a foundation, I had the demand in my world, okay, I am choosing this foundation class and I'm choosing this 3-day body class. And there was just such an energy of enthusiasm in my world at the time that it was like, I was in college, I had no money, I didn't have a job, but I was like, okay, whatever it takes, I'm going to be there. And I also remember a friend of mine at the time who was a facilitator, and also, you know, I knew her from just being friends. And she said to me, Amy, you don't think consciousness wants you at these classes? Like, consciousness desires you to create consciousness in the world. You don't think that they'd want you at the classes? Like, look at how much consciousness it creates to have you at the class and you receiving these tools and this body work. So ask consciousness to contribute to you, and ask consciousness to help you create being in these classes and create the money. And, you know, and when I first looked at the price of foundation, I was like, holy fuck, I have no idea where I'm going to get that money. But it was, again, what I said, it was the demand. It was like, no matter what it takes, I'm going to be there. And it was just this energy that there was something so much greater than the money here for me. It was like this, the money just suddenly became like, yeah, to me, it was a lot of money at the time. And it was just like, but the work of access consciousness, the freedom I was getting from it, the space, and my world was opening up to what else is possible. Like, that energy drove me way more than leaving the limitation of the money stop me. And it was just like, I knew I needed to be there, and I knew that this work resonated with me in these classes, and it was like, I'm choosing it, I'm having it. And I remember putting like the poster little thing on my wall, and just every day, like, I saw myself at that class. And then, you know, so it's like choice, right? So you choose it first. So I didn't leave the money stop me. I chose it first. And then I looked at the money, and then I was like, okay, question comes next. Like, it's choice, and then I demanded of myself, and then I demanded of the universe. So I didn't sit at home waiting for the universe to give me the money. I got to work. I went out, I started cleaning my brother's house, because I found out, remember, you know, they had the thing in Access to say, you know, the things that you're good at are the things that are most easy for you to get paid for. I was really good at cleaning. So I was willing to do whatever it takes. I went and took a couple of jobs cleaning houses. I went and got my bars facilitator license. I started teaching bars classes. I didn't have massive classes right away. I don't, you know, but all that was still me creating, was still bringing income in. And it was just me committing that I was going to do whatever it takes to create my life, my reality. Tom? So, okay, and then just the next part, that's, so as I got to the action part, okay, what can I create every day? What can I choose? Like, income started coming in from all different sources. You know, like, I got an award in college. It paid me like $200, but still, like, I got money for my birthday. I took a couple of jobs here and there, and it's like, what it did was it got me also creating. So, Tom, you asked me tonight, did any class you invest in not give you a return on your money? Is that what you asked me?
Something like that.
And it was like, I actually was like, well, everything I've invested in, I've received from. Like, I don't think, when it came to me, like, I bought clothes and I've not worn them. But like, when it's come to choosing classes, sessions, whatever it is for me, every time I've invested in me, it's returned to me 1,000 times. So what the choice, it's like, it's funny, you know, like Gary always says, you know, don't wait, just create. Like, I've never had the money for anything before I chose it. Like, I see a lot of people like, oh, I'll choose that when I have the money. Like, I never had the money first. Every single class up to this date, you know, maybe now sometimes I'll start preparing in advance and getting a bit better at planning, you know. But even still, like, I'll look at something, whether it's a class or a session or a holiday, and I'll choose it first, and then the creation starts, where I'll start creating the revenue for it.
Which is an awesome point you just made there, right? That when we talked about having this call, and, you know, whether it wanted to be, you know, something that people would pay for or what have you, you chose it. You know, we chose it. We put it out there. We like that, and then it was what has to happen next is basically like you just ask. It's in that creation, once it's chosen, that if we're an ask of the universe, it will show up. We have it that we have to create the money first in order to. the cool part about this is that it doesn't have to go in that old paradigm of have, do, be. It actually is be, do, have.
Yeah, you got to be it first.
You actually be the energy of the creation. You actually start creating the class the minute you register for it. And one of the cool things about Foundation is that, at least the way that I approach it, and I know Amy does as well, is that you can register for the class and never show up.
Yeah, and I say that to people all the time if they're looking at a class. I'm like, register. Because once you register, you let the universe know, hey, look, I'm choosing this. And there's also, you make a commitment to like, I'm choosing this, I'm registering. You get, and like you said, then the class can actually start contributing to you. And you can start receiving from the class before the class.
And here's a little secret for those of you that still think that the $1,600 is a lot, that if you register for the class, you can actually get what it wants to contribute to you before the class starts.
Before the class, yeah. So, oh my God. So everywhere we have been waiting until after the class to receive the change that is possible and to receive the magic and the miracles. Can we just join and create it all?
Yeah.
Whew, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. And that's the clearing statement. You'll learn more about that in the foundation class or at the bars class. You learn about it too. But yeah, like how much are we waiting until after the class rather than, you know, Tom, I took, you know how many times I registered for Symphony of Possibilities class? Like no joke, probably about 10 times I registered for that class before I actually got to the class. But you realize when I finally did get to that class, it was the class that created nearly the most change for me in any class.
Can I share some awareness that I have about that?
Yeah.
So in the 10 registrations that you did, how much of that class were you getting just because you registered for it, even though you never participated in the class? So that you actually, in those 10 registrations, you actually catapulted the energy that you be, your awareness and the energies that you contributed to that class, even by not being there, to then set up that class that you actually did attend to be probably not tenfold, but 100-fold or 100-hundredfold beyond what you could have never imagined possible, just by simply having been pulling energy of what that was prior to actually showing up in the class.
Yeah. And that's so funny because now that you're talking about it, so I registered about 10 times for SLP before I finally actually made it in physically to an SLP, just for people joining on to catch up. And that was the class. That was the first time that I actually got to a class where I had the money before the class and where I had money like put away to cover all my expenses. And I had a holiday with Mike 2 weeks later. So it was the most ease. It was up until that point, that was the class that had the most ease for me in getting there and paying for it and having money afterwards.
Hey, I'm getting pretty good at being your secretary, Amy. I just hopped on the chat and replied.
Christine, I just registered. I love it. Cool. And that's the thing. Like, so it's like register, right? And then it's like, you don't have to be invested in the outcome because it was like, okay, I registered 10 times for SLP and I made it, you know, I finally made it a couple of years ago or whatever. And like, it's like, I didn't judge myself when I didn't make it to those 10 other SLPs. I was just like, okay, you know, now, like you said, Tom just said, it's all play. It's just fun. And it's like, the more we can have fun with it and take the significance out of the money or what we did or didn't create, the easier it is. It's like, okay, I registered. I didn't actually make it, but energetically I received the class, you know? If we're infinite beings, you know, we can be in every class at every time and receive, right? Now it is nice for our body to be in the class and receive the body work, right? Because that's one of the things in a foundation class. Part of the foundation class is that you actually receive, there's like 3 or 4 different body processes, hands-on body processes that you receive. And we run bars in class too. So it is a class for your body as well to receive a lot of body processes. And that's a massive gift. It was for me anyway, for my body.
Well, I think that's it, Amy. I mean, the class, what people ask me, it's you can be whatever you want it to be. Right? If you're looking, I mean, the cool thing about having 2 facilitators is that you get 2 facilitators for the price of 1, right? Yeah. Amy's got amazing capacities with bodies. So if that's really where your focus wants to be in the class, I mean, in my estimation, I mean, Amy's been around this body of work for a long period of time, and she loves the body work. And so, like, how's it getting better than that, right? So it's really what is your ask of what the class would be for you if you could design your own class, right?
Yeah.
The class that you're asking for at this time and space of your reality. Because really what we're talking about with the money for the class is not so much about the money as it is value. If you need a car to get to and from work, that's a whole different thing than buying a Maserati.
Can you?
I'm serious. I mean, it's what vehicle do you know? What does your infinite awareness let you know of what it is that you require to get you from this place that you are now to the place that you want to be at any particular point in time? Because this whole thing that Amy's talking about is choice, which is pretty much the whole conversation. It's getting to a place where you infinitely know what serves you to your greatest and highest good. Your infinite being already knows this, and then it's a willingness to like kind of get your own personal GPS going and understand that that could be different for everybody else that you know, but it doesn't matter what they're choosing. It's what you're choosing to get you there. And is there a price that we can put on that? Because for some people, $1,600 is nothing. For some of us that were looking at choosing it a while back, it was everything. I've done a million modalities. I wasn't ready to plunk another chunk of money down for another one without at least doing a little bit of due diligence on the thing, because, you know, like, yeah, I get something out of everything, but it doesn't mean that I'm just going to pull out my checkbook and willy-nilly write a check for something that sounded good.
Yeah, so
go into the energy of it for you and really start to practice what the biggest part of the foundation is a willingness to know that you know.
yeah, and it's like I was saying to you, Tom, that like I didn't know what the foundation class was about. Like I had no idea. I don't even think I asked a question. Like I don't think I asked anyone like what's in this class or what's this class about. I was like, okay, it's a prereq for 3-day body. I'm doing it. And I remember, you know, that whole class, like I asked so many questions in that first class because I so wanted just to soak all this information up. And it was like, I know we talked about entities and we talked about business and sex and bodies and all this stuff, different stuff. But really, I got a lot out of that class because I actually chose it. Like there was people in that class. Like you can go to any class, you can go to any event, but it's up to you how much change you receive. If you don't like, you know, what's being talked about or you don't like people's questions, you can change the energy of the class with your question. Like I've even been in classes with Gary and Dane, and I'm like, oh my God, these conversations. And I'll get up and I'm like, okay, do I want to sit here and complain about other people and their questions and how I don't like them or whatever, or how I'm bored? Or do I want to pick the mic up and ask for me what I would like to receive, what I would like to change, what I'd like to ask for? Because that's how you receive all the change you'd like to receive, is by being willing to, no matter what's going on around you, ask a question, right? That pertains to what you want to change. Because when you ask a question, you change it for everyone else in the room too. Do you get what I'm saying with that?
Yeah.
So it's like you can, when you talk about the value thing, Tom, like that's really up. Like when people are saying, you know, you and me both say, well, is the foundation worth it? Like, I don't know. It was for me. I received 100 times back and more. Will it be worth it for you? I don't know. I can't tell you that. That has to be something that you choose.
Well, here's something else I'll throw out. That there are people, not only with Access, but in other things that I've done, that have literally paid the money in order to prove that it doesn't work.
Wow. Wow. So everything that is, anywhere we're using money to prove something doesn't work, can we just try and create it?
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, on a shirts, boys and beyonds. So
Well, it doesn't. The fact of the matter is that people will, you, some of you have read about the law of attraction. Some of you know it intimately. Like attracts like. If you pay $1,600 to prove that you won't get anything out of the foundation, guess what?
you'll get that. Yeah.
If you want to spend $1,600 to get everything that it has to offer and what Amy and I are committed to offering in that class, whether it's Amy and I or any other facilitator that's, that facilitates foundation, you'll get that and beyond.
Yeah.
Simply by your demand, it will show up. The thing that really had it distinct from other things that I had, other work that I had done over the years for me, and I say this in my classes, the most valuable part of any of these access manuals, and this one, I don't know how long it is anymore, 150 some odd pages, is the thing on the very front of the cover, right below the dandelion and access consciousness, where it says, empowering people to know that they know. And this is really about you remembering that you already know all this, and then how to take it into your life, and the value and the volume of tools that are in this manual that you get to take away with you is second to none in my estimation. I've done a lot of modalities. This thing is chocked full with an amazing amount of tools to apply to your life. And I heard recently Gary talking about it not being a modality, that it is a toolbox full of tools for you to be able to change your life. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. It's a toolbox to create your life. A lot of the tools we were never given, like I don't know about you, but I was never given tools to create my own financial reality. I think the hope was, she'll marry someone rich and they'll take care of her, so like I have to say, after my first foundation, at the end of the 4 days, I was just kind of like, had the energy of like, oh my God, like I can literally create anything. What would I like to create? Like, what would I like to have as my life? What would I like to create? And I think that's one of the things the foundation class gave me, was like the tools to actually stop. Like, because I was still in college, right? And then I was like looking to do more with dance and movement and bodies. And then I thought like, okay, I'm going to have to go on and do more study and more do more training. And the tools of access gave me the tools, and also the class gave me the clearing all those limitations in my way that stopped me from knowing what I truly know, to actually get out in the world and just start. Like how many of us are waiting until we're, so whatever qualified, or waiting until this is over, or waiting till next year, and waiting until we feel right, or we feel like we're ready. I wasn't ready to teach. I just started. I wasn't ready to teach dance. I just did it. And that's what the tools gave me, because in starting, I realized, there's stuff I know and there's stuff I still have to learn, and it's okay. And one of the things that Melina put below, or I don't know, am I saying your name wrong again? 1,600 is more than 1 month's pension income for me. It's so big. So, like Tom said, like your point of view creates your reality. So if you have the point of view like this is way too big, then that's what you're going to create. And the thing is if that's your point of view, that's going to be you can never then receive beyond 1,600 in your world at all, ever.
Well, and how much of that pension, retirement, monthly income conversation have we kept alive and limiting us for what else is possible, that we can actually create and institute revenue streams that really require very little or if nothing from us, that just is the universe wanting to contribute, or as Amy would say, contribute to us.
Yeah, and what if it wasn't a hurdle that you had to overcome? And what if it was just a demand that you required to make of yourself? So it's like you have a choice, right? And here's the thing, choice is no good without action. So you can be like sitting at home going, oh, I'm choosing this, I'm choosing that. But if you're not taking action, then you're not really choosing. You're just saying you are. So it's like you can stay with the reality you have right now. If that works for you, great. You know, but like stay where things are, or you make a choice to choose something different. You make a choice that, like, my choice was, this doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me not to know how to create finances. It doesn't work for me to depend on my father for money. You may be depending on your pension, whoever may be depending on their husband, whatever it is. I got to a point, I was like, it doesn't work for me. Yeah, look, it has worked for me up until now, but it's not working anymore, because my demand was for more. My demand was that I'm going to have it all in this lifetime. I'm not waiting anymore. And by having it all, I meant everything. I get to experience everything, and I'm not willing to have anything limit me anymore. So the demand was, no matter what it took, I'm going to choose greater. And I also knew I was here to create consciousness. And so that's what those classes were for me, and still are. It's like giving me more information, more tools, allowing me to get more conscious so that I can then pass it on. So that was my demand. So you got to look at what's a priority for you and what's your demand. And then what choices can you make that match that demand and that match that priority? And then when you choose the action, then it's like, okay, what can I create today? You know, and what if it wasn't difficult? Like, it wasn't hard for me to go out and clean my brother's house. It wasn't difficult for me to teach a bars class. You know, I work every single day, but it's not hard work because I'm doing things I love. So what if it wasn't difficult to actually create more and to demand and to choose? What if it actually could add to your life? What if demanding more could actually add to your life? And what if demand wasn't something that was work? Whew. So everything that is, everywhere we've made demanding more mean we have to work harder, we have to deal with more trauma and drama and all that. Can we destroy it and create it?
Yes.
Wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, on a show, it's moving beyond. It actually was exciting because it added energy to my life, and it gave my life like a fullness, you know? Where it's like, oh my God, like I'd spent all my life looking at what was wrong. I was in AA, I was constantly fixing, I was constantly looking at myself. And now I was like, oh, I actually switched me 360. I went from what's wrong with me to what can I create? What's right about me? What can I create? And it went from this perspective, always looking within and to like, let's create. And it added so much energy to my life that I actually took everything off anything being wrong with me. It's like a distraction. And Gary says it all the time. And I say to people all the time, if you're bored, you know, you got to look at what can you add to your life. You know, when we're bored, we'll start to destroy our money flows, destroy our relationships, destroy our body. We'll go into judgment. But when we have so much creation going on in our life, it's not even about the money. It's just about the energy it contributes to you and how much that like is the driving force in your life then. You won't have time to fight with your husband.
So with my preamble of my lovely curtains and whatnot, we had originally talked about 29 minutes.
I know.
And how interesting that things changed in your world. I'm wondering if you hit stop to keep this encapsulated at 30 minutes.
Well, can we just throw it open if anyone has a question they want to?
Well, yeah, but what I'm getting is keep that part at 30 minutes. And if you hit record again, now this is my technological stuff coming in on Zoom because I played with this over the weekend. If you hit stop on the record, it will actually save 2 recordings.
Okay.
So that this first part that we actually kind of in some weird way talked about what foundation is, and it isn't about the money thing, but there's something here that's really asking. I get with this series of questions here that what's really cool about this work and a lot of other modalities is that we get to explore, if you're willing